Well, how y'all doing? Gracious, it's Dan. I want to welcome everyone to my home, the Sticks. Lord of mercy, wherever you are at in the world. I hope you had a good weekend, and I hope you're having a good start to a new week. But over here in East Central Mississippi, I'm here to tell you it is sure enough nice to be outside. We was in the upper 60s this morning. It's probably about 78, 79 degrees right now. Before we get started on today's video, I'm always going to say that if you are new to the channel, I want to welcome you. And if you returning just to see what old Dan's got going on over her, I sure enough thank you for coming back. What I want to share with you and y'all today is, Lord of mercy, we finna get our Vegepod on. So give me a second. I'm finna show you what I done did. Dan, we finna what? We finna get our Vegepod on here in East Central Mississippi, and this is what it looks like. And I'm here to tell you, fantastic growing machine. So before we take a peek into this Vegepod, let's talk about what I think of it thus far. As far as putting this thing together, all of the bolt holes matched perfectly. Have no complaints about that. Well thought out and pretty much easy to put together. Now, the instructions that come with this Vegepod. Not so much. I actually had to get on YouTube and search for a Vegepod and maybe a creator that actually put out a video putting one of these things together, because I actually had to use the video to help me put it together. The instructions for building the base is pretty good, but when it comes to the actual growing platform itself, yeah, I need a little help with that, because there's a few things on it I was kind of stumped because the instructions were not clear, at least for me anyways, but I put it together. The one thing I'll tell you, if you and y'all are interested in a Vegepod, check out some videos on YouTube to help you put this thing together. No big deal, not a deal breaker at all. As far as the videos regarding the Vegepod on YouTube, I did a search. I searched for a few hours just looking around to see what I could see. And there's quite a few videos on the Vegepod, but they're really old. 5, 6 years old. I found a few that were a year old, but no big deal. So I'm doing this video, an updated video on the Vegepod, especially because it's being grown here in East Central Mississippi. But anyways, to show you and y'all that may be interested in it and what it'll do, what it looks like when it's built. And I'll have pictures that I put up here and there showing you what I've done to build this growing platform. Now, as far as putting the base together, super simple. Heads up, leave everything loose. Don't tighten anything down. Leave everything loose as far as the base. These legs right here have to be straight. And there's quite a few legs. This is the large Vegepod. I want to say it's 39 inches wide, 6 feet long, and about 12 inches deep of growing area. But this is the large Vegepod, and this is actually 2 medium stands that you hook together by a brace, and you might see it right there. That wasn't too bad. I will say right up front, kudos to Vegepod. The nuts and bolts are actually nylon. They're not metal, so pretty easy to put together. The one thing that I'll caution anybody that may be getting one of these or may have one of these and they're just starting to put it together, be careful putting the nuts onto the bolts. You don't want to cross thread them, and that goes for nylon bolts and metal bolts, period. You don't want to cross thread it, because Vegepod sends you just the right amount of hardware to put this thing together. The one thing that I will say is I wish Vegepod would actually have sent a few extra nuts and bolts just in case you booger one up. And the bolts are actually, I said nuts. The growing platform, or this thing right here, is put together with nylon bolts, but I said nuts. I meant to say wing nuts. They have wing nuts that fly, that you tighten on right here as a wing nut, and that's what you tighten this section down to this. Okay, now the base is one section, and there's actually some risers, which are these right here that connect to this base, and that's what gives you your 12 inches of growing area up and down. So if you want to do some root crops, this would be perfect for it. Let's crack this thing open and I'll show you what I done did so far. What you'll see over here is some string. This is what holds the hood that way so it doesn't fall down, or so it doesn't fall back on you. I don't know, I think this could have been designed a little bit differently. There's really no way to connect this string to the base itself, so I have it run through a bolt, and I just twisted it around the bolt and tighten the bolt down with the wing nut just to hold it like it is. This Vegepod comes with a sprinkler system as well. You see it mounted on the middle section of this dome. I fired up the sprinkler system. I don't know about that. I may take those misters out and replace them with some different ones. I don't think it puts out enough coverage to cover everything, especially over here, but it does water this stuff right here pretty good. So not a deal breaker, but something that might could be changed. The hood itself, it creates somewhat of a greenhouse effect. This material allows rain to penetrate it, thus falling into the growing area. Really like that. And it's good to give the plants just a little bit of shade. So digging that a lot. I think what I'll do later on is, whoops, see, there we go. It's starting to fall. So I may have to do some adjustments on that. What I may do in the future is I may get some shade cloth to put on here just to cover some stuff that I don't want direct sunlight to hit. So that'll be in the works. Here is the Vegepod filled up with growing medium. Before we talk about the growing medium, at the bottom of this growing platform, there are some little decks or risers. And what that is, it allows water to fall down into the bottom, this area right here, of the Vegepod. Now keep in mind, all this is just a big version of a wicking bed, and I truly love the wicking bed concept, and it works really, really good. So what I did was, I put up some pictures of the 3 little risers that are in the middle of each section, and there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 sections in this large Vegepod. So what you do is you fill those sections up, those risers up, or the parts that are the wells, if you will, to the bottom of this growing platform, and you put perlite all in the bottoms of it. I put a picture up of that. And the perlite is a wicking medium. Perlite is porous, it'll suck up that water, and it'll allow these plants to draw that water up from the bottom. As far as the growing medium, I put 3 bags of Pro Mix BX in this system, and as you can see, you want to use a good potting mix in a Vegepod. You want something that drains off really fast and is light and fluffy, and especially good for if you want to grow some root crops in a Vegepod. Now what I have growing in mine is I have some stonehead cabbage right here. This is Maximo broccoli. I know you're not probably supposed to plant any of this stuff together, but oh well, we're just going to see what happens. On the other side, I have Avon spinach, and I have some Mizuna going right here. This stuff is fabulous. If you like salads, look into Mizuna. It is delicious. It's kind of like a spicy lettuce, if you will. But I'm trying to grow out some lettuce in this Vegepod and see what happens. What I'm going to say is, if you like square foot gardening, this is perfect for square foot gardening. You can put a lot of stuff and grow a lot of stuff in this area right here using the square foot method. Myself, I like to intensive plant, just put a whole bunch of stuff in there and let it grow. Right now, I am looking for a few more fall crops that I can get from my local cooperative, and I may do some seeds as well. But this is what I have growing thus far. I am here to tell you this is a fabulous, fabulous growing system. One of the things that boogered me up and had me just scratching my head are these clips right here. In the instructions, it really doesn't show you how to put these on until Angel actually looked it up, and she was like, look at this video. And I didn't know that these things right here pop out and you slide this one in, and this is what holds your dome down, and it just slides right back into place. So there's a few things that could be changed, but all in all, quite happy with how this turned out upon setting it up. And to shut it on down, and locks into place. So pretty excited to see how this thing grows. I have it in a spot where it gets a lot of sunlight. That's what Vegepod suggests you do. Set it up in a place that gets a lot of sunlight. I also have my Vegepod sitting up on some pavers, and you want to make sure that this guy is even or level. I put a 4-foot level on this guy when I set it up. It's looking good right now. I also put a level on it when I put all of the growing medium in it. But one thing you have to keep in mind is once you set this up and you put that growing medium into this Vegepod, it's there. This thing is just heavy with all of that soil or potting mix in there. A lot of weight to move around. So make sure you have it set up where you want to keep it and grow in it, and just be done with it and leave it there. As far as the Vegepod, I believe the company is based out of Australia. These growing platforms are very popular in the UK and Australia. I follow a few creators that are based out of Australia, and a few of them have quite a few of these Vegepods. That's how I found out about it. I waited for several years just to see if Vegepod was going to do any modifications or any improvements to their growing system, which they have not done. And I wanted one for a long time, so I got it, and hopefully it's going to grow good for me over here. I have a few more things that I'm going to plant in this Vegepod, and of course I'll do some updates on that. But I wanted to show you what this thing looks like, what it looks like filled with growing medium, and some fall crops in it growing. So if you're interested in getting this Vegepod, maybe this video will help you make that decision. Well, all right, that's what I wanted to share with you and y'all today. Got the large Vegepod set up over here at the Home of the Sticks. Hopefully it will get to growing for me. I got a few more things that I want to put in it just to test it and see how it grows, but I think it's going to grow good because it is a well thought out growing platform, and it's a wicking platform, which is something that I really like. So if any of you and y'all have a Vegepod or a wicking bed set up, drop something down in the comments and let me know what you have, especially if you have a Vegepod, and let me know how it's growing for you and if you like it and what you don't like about it. And if you have just a regular wicking bed, yeah, let me know if you like it and what you don't like about it. So again, hope everybody has a show enough good week, and I hope you stay safe amid this crisis that we still have going on. If y'all like this video, go and give it a thumbs up, they help. If you haven't subscribed to the Home of Six channel, Lord of mercy, y'all need to come on over here and give old Dan a look, because I'm always doing stuff like growing in a Vegepod now. With that being said, you know what's coming down, reference show enough, always gonna say it. Don't let nobody dull your shine. And I mean nobody, you sure enough get your shine on, put them hands in the dirt. You gotta grow something. And Dan will see you and y'all in the next video.